how to assemble and disassemble a personal computer. So the first step is you need to first unplug all of the wires that you see on the computer or plug. Don't unplug the male plugs on the outlet. You will have a chance of getting electrified. So you better unplug the plugs on the outlet. So after you've done unplugging all of the connectors on the outlet, you should start by the outer shell or the casing of the computer. So I'm gonna read the first. Now that your computer is finally unplugged, move your PC to a clean workspace because you don't want to get your PC parts dirty. Then, unscrew all of the screws that you can see in the outermost part of the casing. Then you're good to go. So after you've done that, the third step is quite similar to the second step, but you just need to remove all of the content or the parts inside of the casing of the computer. So I'm gonna read this. In this step, in the last step, you remove the side panels. In this step, you need to remove the front and top panels. After you've done that, we're here. Moving on to the fourth step is unscrewing the system fan. The system fan, by the way, helps the computer cool off, or some certain parts that you want to cool off the computer. In the fifth step, now that you finally removed the system fan that covers the CPU fan, you can freely remove or unscrew the CPU fan at your own risk. We're moving on to the sixth step, which is the power supply. But before that, the power supply is where the computer gets the power and stores them temporarily for the usage of the computer. So that goes into the sixth step. So we're removing it. Unscrew all of the screws, then you're good to go. So the seventh step is CD or DVD drive. CD means compact disc drive. You can also call it DVD, but I don't know the meaning of what's DVD. So some computers have only one, but I will include two because two is the most common. So you need to unscrew them and you're good to go. So the eighth step is the card reader. Let me explain a bit about the card reader because some card readers are built-in. What do you mean by built-in? Built-in is fixed. It means the card reader is fixed in its position. You cannot remove it. So I'm gonna change it a little bit to an old style computer. So I'm gonna change it to a removable card reader. So usually there are 3 to 4 screws, but some computers only have 2 to 3 like that, so remove it. So the ninth step is hard disk drive and AMP. So in order for you to wait, let's just explain this first. So I've included both components together because they're far more similar than you think it is. So before you can remove the hard disk drive, you must remove the portable disk drive slot first, so you can freely remove the hard disk drive. So the 10th step is expansion cards. Expansion cards give or enhance your computer. They give memories or plus graphics or something, but the usual thing that they do is add more memory to your computer and store a lot of different data. So you really need to remove that so you won't get your data lost and stuff. So the 11th step is quite easy. Just unscrew the connectivity center cables. Once you've done all of that, that I've asked you to do of disassembling a computer, do the 12th step. You're ready for it. The random access memory, or RAM in short. I'm sure that all of the computers have built-in or unbuilt-in RAM. You need to remove that in case of memory loss. So the 13th is pretty easy to recognize because the power button, AMP power, is just the buttons that you can see on the computer. So only unscrew it, so you're good to go. So this is the last of how to disassemble computer. So the connectivity center connects all the main parts of the PC that are usually, these are usually the mouse and keyboards and stuff that you can use to operate the computer naturally. So now that you've done that all and disassembled your computer, now it's time for you to learn the basics of how to assemble your computer. The first step on assembling your PC is prepare the motherboard, or if you want to call it the mainboard, you can call it that. So I've listed here the recommended motherboard, but you can use other types or brands as well. I listed here i3, i5, and i7, so if you want to change that, you feel free to change what I've been listed here. So the second step is you need to mount the CPU socket of the mainboard or the motherboard, whichever you want to call it. So this is the CPU socket. This is the mainboard slash motherboard, whatever you want to call it. You need to mount this, or sa Tagalog, ikakabit mo po. So you need to mount this on here so you can have the CPU socket. Just connect the CPU. Wait lang. Pause. So I'm sorry for the delay. So the third step is connect the CPU coder to the mainboard. This is the CPU coder. You connect it to the mainboard, so you can head on to the next step. As you can see, step 4 is like the part where we disassemble the computer. So RAM gives enhancements, like in the last part where you disassemble. RAM gives additional memory, so you need to put this, mount it over here, or ikakabit po. So morning again. This is the part 2 of our assembling slash disassembling of computer. So we are currently on step 5 on how to assemble a computer. So the 5th step is open the case and mount the power supply, which gives power to the M-ATX type of the computer. So the 6th step is attach the mainboard slash motherboard backplate to the case and check the mainboard mounting position. So you need to precisely check the mounting position of the mainboard so it won't cause any damage to other parts of the computer. So the 7th step is suitably position the mainboard in the case. So you need to really precisely put the right pieces in the right places so your computer cannot be broken of any damage that you caused while assembling the computer. We're down to the 8th step, so I think 4 more steps to go. So the 8th step is mount the hard disk and connect it to the power supply and the motherboard. So you need to connect the hard disk to the power supply so it would receive power and usually work as one. So the 9th step is connect the SATA connectors. So SATA means serial AT attachments. So attachments that you can attach to your computer, as the name states itself. So it connects to the drives and the USB connectors, so you can add additional memory to your USB or universal serial bus in long words. So it switches to the motherboard. So the 10th step, or the third to the last step of our assembling of computers, connect the 20 or 24 pin ATX connector and the 4-pin power supply control to the motherboard. So this controls how much power the motherboard or the whole system unit receives power. It's just pretty short. So mount the DVD-ROM drive. The DVD-ROM drive is the main storage of the memory of the computer, while the RAM is just the random access memory. The random access memory is the memory where you open a computer. Like, for example, the memory that you've done with the computer, or what you've done with the computer, is temporarily saved in the RAM, while the ROM is permanently saved in the ROM drive. The last step is finally select a compatible operating system and follow the instructions to install it. So thanks for listening to me and talking to me about how to assemble and disassemble computers step by step.